wanted this training particularly because I've known this person for over 3 years. He joined Powur. He was one of the first people to join my team 3 years ago. He comes from an extremely successful career in the ADT home security world. He also is a mortgage lender. He's a hustler through and through. Just stayed at my house in Vegas for a day or two while we had a business meeting with the #5 ADT dealer in the country. And guys, he probably has one of the best one-call closes, drives the urgency, salesman, hustler through and through. And I think today we're going to get to see a little bit of that magic and how you present the solar opportunity, Jarrett. So take it away, my friend, Jarrett McCallum.
Yeah, thank you for that, Jonathan. Yeah, man, I'm excited to do this training with you all. As he said, I've been selling forever. I sold ADT security since I was 18 years old, knocking on doors, 100 doors a day, building sales teams, recruiting. I was the guy driving the van. I became the guy coming in, closing the deals at the end. So closing sales is all I know. That's just been, it's in my DNA to close deals, always be closing, right? And so, been in thousands of homes, done thousands of in-home presentations. And, it's an art, right? Closing a deal and doing a presentation and getting them to say yes at the end. It truly is an art. It's something that I appreciate, something I've studied, I've read books on and gone to webinars and trainings and all that stuff. But, there's nothing like the experience of being out there. And when I saw, the solar presentation and the opportunity, I said, oh, this is something that, I could easily translate or transfer, my ADT presentation and move it over to solar. I love the fact that it was virtual, because that gives you the ability to do more presentations, right? You're not spending all your time driving and, wasting your time during the commute. So learning and teaching myself the virtual sales presentation was something I was committed to, almost 4 years ago now, when I saw that. I think actually it may have been Rachel, who's the first presentation I saw virtually. I saw her presentation, and then I saw Bernasso's presentation. I saw Charles Thompson had some training on him doing a presentation. And I religiously woke up in the morning and I watched these presentations over and over and over and learned all my cues on the little slides. And I worked with several different mentors and I watched their presentation. And, any good salesperson is going to learn from people who are doing, who have success, right? So I take a little bit from what Jonathan would say or what Charles would say and what Rachel had said. And I just started pulling it all together. And I've created a slide deck that I use. It's not Powur's slide deck. And I feel a little bit bad for not teaching on their one specifically, but that's all right. This is what works for me. And we are going to share that slide deck, put a copy of it in the chat that you can click on it and then make a copy yourself so you can edit it. You can change the picture from my picture to your picture, change the slides. It is interchangeable depending on whatever utility you're working with. This one is specific for PG&E, but you could swap it out for SDG&E slides or SoCal Edison or whatever. But yeah, so let's kind of get into it. And I'm going to show you guys, this is exactly how I set it up when I'm doing a presentation. And Jonathan's going to role play with me a little bit as the homeowner. But let's talk about setting up the presentation first, right? Because that's actually really key, is to make sure that you put yourself in a position for success. One of the main things that you want to do, right, when setting up a presentation is, one, having a good discovery call ahead of time, right? So you know a little bit of background about your customer. How long have they lived there? What are their goals? Are they planning on getting an EV? Anybody moving in and out of the household, is their roof, electrical panel, all these types of things. But one of the key components about being able to do a one-call close is having both parties, both decision makers being there during the presentation. And I cannot stress that enough. I'd say 80% of my deals come from mentees, and so when they're setting up an appointment, I stress to them very much so that both decision makers need to be there. The spouse does need to be there, because I can do a phenomenal job presenting. I can answer all their questions and their concerns, and the husband or the wife may want to go forward with it. But if both decision makers aren't there, more often than not, you're going to get hey, this sounds great, Jarrett. Just got to run it by the wife or got to run it by the spouse. And I'm sure they'll say yes, but I'm not closing the deal right then. Right. And their chances go down dramatically the next time you have to do it. Now, when I sold ADT, I was a one-call close. Like, you couldn't get me out of the house without signing paperwork. I've had people be uncomfortable, like, dude, they've said no like 7 times. I'm like, I know, that's when my job just began. This is why I get paid. Right. And so I would keep going and keep going and keep going. I'd walk out with the paperwork. Solar, not so much. I go for the one-call close. I get it quite often because of my presentation. But it's a $40,000 purchase, $50,000, $60,000, right? So there is a fine line. You don't want to come off pushy. You do want to come off confident. But I do believe, and you guys will see after I do my presentation, it's you want to make it easy to say yes and difficult to say no, right? And so let's talk about some of those reasons why someone would say no and why they would say yes. So people purchase from people who they like, know, and trust, right? They got it. Do they like the product? Does it solve a problem for them? Can they afford it? Right? And then do they trust the company as well, right? So it comes down to competition, your product, your price, and you. I can give you the best product with the best price, solve all your problems. But if I smell bad, or if you don't like my attitude, if there's something about me, if we're not jiving, you're not going to purchase from me. Have you guys ever experienced that before? Have you ever had a salesperson who's just annoying and just rubbed you the wrong way? And I'm like, dude, you couldn't give this to me for free. I would literally spend more money to not purchase from you, right? So, it's very important. Step 1, if you guys want to write this down to your sales presentation, is build rapport. Now, building rapport, it's a lot easier when you're inside the home, right? Stepping inside the home, you're talking to the pictures on the wall about their vacations, their kids, their pets. You're spending the time. Sometimes I'd spend 15, 20 minutes talking with people about them and asking about them and having them talk to me before even talking about the product or the sales, because I wanted to make sure I learned a long time ago, it wasn't do they like me, but do I like them, right? Have they said enough to where we are vibing? Because if we're vibing, I can actually say the wrong things and they'll still purchase from me, right? People will purchase from people. Even if I mess up the presentation, if they really like me, they'll just want to buy it from me because they like me. So you have that going for you as long as you take the time to build rapport. Now, this is virtual sales, right? So I'm not there physically, but you can still build rapport with the person and do that. Take the time. Ask them, how long they've lived in their home. Ask them about what they do for a living, how they got into that career. right? Spend a little bit of time, and you got to be conscious, especially if it's a cold lead. You don't want to spend too much time because they're going to be like, all right, come on, buddy, let's get to the point. But you can feel it out. You guys are sales professionals. But make sure you don't just jump right into the sales presentation. Okay. Another tip I'll give you guys is take your time, thoroughly explain everything. I do this. My average presentation is about, I don't know, about 45 minutes. I can do it. Can I do it in 15 minutes? I've knocked out a 15-minute presentation. I've also spent over an hour doing a presentation, but it's about 45 minutes. The reason why you want to make sure that you spend the time thoroughly going over everything is because if they're going around getting other quotes, and they've said that they're going to get other quotes, well, if you spend an hour plus with these people thoroughly going over everything, are they going to want to do that again? Probably not, right? You kind of wearing them down a little bit, so it's take the time up front. I know it's crazy. I hear sometimes, as I'm talking to homeowners, they've gotten some other quotes and they're kind of blown away with all the information I've given them. And I'll ask them simple questions like, do you understand how net metering works? And they'll say no. And I'll go, you've had 2 other quotes and they never explained to you how net metering works? No. Well, now I just, validated myself. But taking the time, and they appreciate that stuff. So anyways, just those are some basic tips in the beginning. So make sure, husband and wife are both there, the spouse are both there. Will I present if they're both not? I really don't like to. I will actually, I will reschedule. If I feel, if he goes, I would go, okay, yeah, is your wife going to join us? Oh no, she's actually busy with the kids, this and that. I'll say, well, this is a big decision, and there's a lot of information here. I would love it, if you guys could both be here. That way I can answer all her questions, because at the end of this, you're going to go and present it to her. She's going to ask you questions. You're not going to know. We might end up having to do it twice. How about we schedule this for a time where you guys are both available? It takes about 30, 40 minutes, and that way I can answer all your questions. How's that sound? So I'll push for that. I will always push for a reschedule with both parties. Now, if the husband's adamant, he goes, she's not going to be a part of this, he doesn't want to have anything to do with it, this is my time or it's no time, and I kind of get the sense like it's not going to happen with both, well, then I'm going to go for it. But I will at least give an opportunity or, a shot to reschedule. So remember to do that. You're going to close more deals when you have both parties there. And then, yeah, like I said, build some rapport. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen, and I apologize. I'm a little stuffy. I've been fighting a cold the past week. Let me share my screen. So everybody knows how to use Zoom, right? You guys are all on Zoom calls. Can you guys say in the chats if you've never sold virtually before? Go ahead and let me know if you've never done a virtual sale. Because I know some of you guys have been selling in-home only. Okay, Corey, never from a treadmill. Yeah, as you notice, I'm not on a treadmill today. And that's awesome. Okay, cool. We got a lot of people who have never done it. This is cool, man. Well, I'm going to show you guys some pretty cool stuff. I use Zoom personally. I'm comfortable with Zoom. Make sure that you have the pro version. Spend the $150, whatever it costs, so you have unlimited time. I was a cheapo in the very beginning, and I tell you what, when you get to a close and you had 1 minute remaining, and then all of a sudden your Zoom closes out, and you're like, go back on the link right in the middle of when you're about to close. That's no bueno, right? So spend the $150, get that. Just so you guys know, I've sold almost 100 deals, and I've never been in someone's house to sell solar. Every single one of my sales has come virtually. So this is pretty cool. I love this. This gives you total freedom. I saw someone in the chat said they live in Coeur d'Alene. That's where I live. I live in North Idaho, you guys. Like, I used to live in California, and I sell all over the country, but 90% in California because of the ability to sell virtual. So we'll do this presentation. If you need help, if you want, if you want me to mentor you on a deal and teach you this, I also do that as well. So feel free to reach out anytime, but let's kind of get to it. So Jonathan, you ready to be my customer?
Yes, sir. My wife and I are here, Jarrett.
All right. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Branasso. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great. Ready for the holiday.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. You have any plans coming up for Christmas? You guys going anywhere? Family coming in?
One of my brother's house, hanging out with the grandparents. Parents will come over as well. Yeah, keeping it chill, and then go to Vegas for New Year. So
Cool. Very cool. Yeah. You had mentioned when we talked earlier that you guys have a house in Vegas and thinking about maybe even getting solar on that home as well, huh?
yeah, it's a second home for us. So we're getting used to the bills there, and let's see if this goes well, and then maybe we could consider it there too. Yeah.
Sure, sure. And now, how long have you been in this home?
We've lived in this home for about 9 years now.
Okay, about 9 years now. And have you noticed your electric bill going up this past year?
Yeah, we never had a $600 summer bill before, right? Like it was always around 400 something, but I think we kind of had some of those heat waves.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of people have been feeling it. It's a good time to be in the industry where I'm at right now. A lot of people are going solar. It's one of the ways to fight inflation. So I'll be able to show you that here. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. First thing I want to do, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I see a video of some of the solar.
Yeah.
websites.
Yeah, so this right here is our company website. So our company is Powur Solar, POWUR.com is the website. This is our website here. And we've actually been around for about 10 years now. The company is absolutely phenomenal. 5-star reviews on Yelp, but almost 100 of those. A+ BBB accredited business. Something really impressive though, that I like to share with you is that we just hit number 43 on the Inc. 500 list. We actually hit that list 3 years in a row. A couple years ago, we were 200 and something. Last year, we were number 61. This year, we hit number 43. So we're a top 50 business as far as growing businesses in the country. We're a top 5 solar company in the United States right now. And as you can see, we're in about a little over 27 states as the general contractor. Now, what's unique about us, Renato, is it's our business model. So we're about 90% virtual, which is great because we have zero to little overhead. And in this type of environment, we're extremely profitable as a company. Now, you want your solar company to be profitable, right? Because you want us to be around 5, 10, 20, 30 years down the road. There's warranties that are involved with this. And in this type of environment, a lot of solar companies are starting to shrink up a little bit. The other great thing is because of the cost savings, is we're able to pass those savings onto the consumer, which gives us another competitive advantage. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. And just a little bit about myself. Like I said, the company's been around for about 10 years. I've been with the company for almost 4 years now. I'm actually a licensed mortgage broker. And that's how I got into this. I saw what solar could do for my clients and the ability to put the equity back into your home rather than throwing it away with the utility company. So once I saw that, I heavily got into solar and started offering it to my clients and got pretty passionate. The company that I chose to work with is, like I said, is Powur. Powur is a phenomenal company. They're on fire right now. They're actually a certified B Corp, a public benefit corporation. They are on a mission to do good for the planet. Their philanthropy is off the charts. They partnered with the company Pachamama Alliance. We were actually the first solar company to offset the emissions that come from solar projects. You'd think that all solar companies do that, but they don't. You know, because solar is great for the planet, as we know, but there's still manufacturing, installation, transportation, you know, and so we offset the carbon footprint pound for pound. Another great thing, and this is what I'm actually really excited about, is like I said, their philanthropy, the giving back, making a difference. They partnered with a company called Give Power, which helps build homes for indigenous families across the globe, providing shelter, running water, food. In fact, this is me and the solar team with Prosperity Homes, where we went down to Mexico and we did a home build for a family. And I don't know if this means anything to you. It does for some people, but it truly is a life-changing experience, the ability to give back. And I just like to share, we're just not another big box solar company. We truly are trying to make a difference in people's lives. Have you ever been on a home build or anything like that before?
No, I mean, that looks amazing what you guys are doing there. That's Mexico?
Yeah, that was in Ensenada. It was very cool. There's about 20 of us to go down there. Our company does it quarterly, you know, brings a team down there. And as you can see, we even put a couple solar panels on the house, enough to provide electricity for, you know, a fridge and some, you know, some lights in the home. So anyways, like I said, I don't know if this means anything to you, but I'm very passionate about it and just wanted to share that with you. As I mentioned, 5-star reviews, people absolutely love us. And even though we're a nationwide company, our home base is right here in Del Mar. So we're a Southern California based company. This right here, my man, this is game, set, match. This is really, truly one of the biggest difference makers. It's our post-installation warranty. Most companies offer a 25-year warranty. That's a manufacturer's warranty. Most panels have a 25-year warranty. But then who's going to come out there and fix it? They usually have 5 years on the roof penetration, maybe 10 years on the workmanship. With us, you're getting Power Care. It's a 30-year full coverage, bumper to bumper warranty on everything. And I mean everything. That's your panels, your wiring, your racking, roof penetration, workmanship. It's 100% transferable, all with zero deductible. 20 years from now, you have a leak in your roof from where the solar was installed, we'll come out there, we'll fix it at no cost to you. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's what my wife was worried about. I think she knew someone that they have the concrete tiles like we do, and I think they had a leak or something. So what's the roof warranty if there's a leak? Or
Yeah, so anywhere where the solar is installed, if there's a leak from the penetration where the solar is, we will fix it at no cost to you. So it's included with your warranty. There's no deductible. And that's for 30 years.
Okay, wow, good.
Yeah, it truly is phenomenal. It's peace of mind, you know, because think about it. You're going to have these savings with solar, but if, you know, a few years down the road, something happened, an inverter went out, or you had a hole in your roof and you had to pay to come out and fix it, that's going to eat into your cost savings, right? So with this, you'll never have to worry about it. Truly peace of mind.
Got it.
And, you know, another thing is we are a technology platform. So once you get your project started, you're going to download the My Power app, where you're going to be able to track the progress of your project from beginning to end, every single stage. So from site survey to design to submitting for permits, installation, post-install inspection, every single. Also be able to communicate with your project manager inside the app. This is, I mean, let's face it, this is a construction project, and we know communication is key and how important it is. And you'll be able to do that right there from the app. Okay.
Nice.
So why go solar? This is one of those parts I don't really have to spend too much time with people these days, because it makes sense. Everything from reducing your electric bill to being able to provide more power during the summer for the AC, want to lower your carbon footprint. But let me ask you, Mr. and Mrs. Bernasso, what is your driving factor right now? What has you looking at going solar?
Well, that high summer bill, you know, something that we don't like, and I think we're not moving anytime soon. We really like where we're at. Little Johnny goes to the school down the street, and yeah, we just want to get that bill down and save some money. We're also noticing like some of our neighbors and friends are doing it. So it used to be kind of ugly, but it seems like it's the new norm. And my wife is also thinking about a plug-in hybrid. So it just seems to make a little sense, Jarrett. And I know
Okay,
that, yeah.
cool. So you said you guys are thinking about a hybrid?
Yeah, we're looking at one or two. I think it's like in, 2023 purchase, but we'll see.
Okay, very cool. And how would you like the ability to charge that vehicle with the solar on your roof?
Yeah, I mean, that seems like what we'll have to do. I'm not sure if my wife's work has like charging or not, so we'll probably have to plug it in at the house.
I'll just be honest, like solar's cool. You're going to see the savings. I'm going to show that to you. I think that, it's awesome. But when you can charge your vehicle and drive a whole year round from the power of the sun, that's when you come full circle and you can truly see some really significant savings. And so I'll be able to show that to you when we get to the proposal here. So, but what you guys are really trying to accomplish, so it's lowering your utility bill. Is that your driving factor? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, and I mean, I do know that that's the future. I think it's the right thing to do, but definitely the savings and the tax credit, some of that stuff is a big driver for us.
Cool. And I'll explain how that tax credit works here in just a second. And I think by the end of this, you'll see that we're able to help you achieve those goals. So look, the way that we've been generating electricity, the way we've been doing it for hundreds of years, it's not all bad, but it's dirty energy, right? It's not renewable. And there is a global shift towards renewable energy right now. So much so, I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but there's new laws. If you were to build a house in California as of January 1st of 2020, it's mandatory to put solar on the house. You can't even build a home without solar.
Wow.
Now, luckily for us, though, the federal government is going to give you a tax credit for 30% of your entire solar project. Now, has anybody explained to you how the tax credit works, or were you aware of how that works?
Not really. I think I saw it like changed recently, and I knew there was a tax benefit when you do it. I'm not sure if it's a deduction or do I get a check or?
Yeah, so it's not a deduction. You can get a check. So, and it did just recently go up. So it was 26, it was going to go down to 22. They just bumped it up to a 30% tax credit that you're able to take advantage of. And how it works is it's based off of your federal net liability. So you, are you a W-2 employee?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, you pay taxes all year long.
You take out a lot out of my wife and I's paycheck. Yeah.
I'm sure they do, right? No one likes that. We all got to pay our taxes. But so let's say over the course of the year, you spent $20,000 in taxes, right? Taken out, so forth, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, you and your wife, you file your taxes and you have some deductions and, you get it down and you actually get a refund back. Let's say you got $5,000 back, right? Does that sound about right? You probably get a refund, a little bit of a refund.
And if we're lucky, maybe $2 or $3 grand.
Okay, right. So at the end of the day, let's say if you paid $20,000 in taxes and you got $5,000 back, you still paid $15,000 in taxes when it was all said and done.
Mm-hmm.
This tax credit comes out of that net liability. So as long as you've paid more in taxes than what the tax credit is, then you will get a check in that amount back. Now, if let's say you didn't pay that much in taxes and the refund or the tax credit was more than that, then you would cap out at how much you paid in taxes. And then you'd be able to roll that over to the following year. I think you have about 5 years to get that tax credit. Obviously, you're going to want to consult with your CPA, but that's the gist of it, of how it works.
Okay. Sounds like
Right.
good candidates for it.
Yeah, definitely a good candidate for it. Some people don't pay taxes. Well, guess what? You're not getting the tax credit. So you guys are, definitely pay taxes. And as you can see here, obviously, we know rates are going up. This slide is so it says it's doubled. It's almost tripled in the past 20 years. And in fact, rates have gone up almost 20% in just this past year alone. And because of the blackouts and the fires, they're getting sued up the wazoo. That money's got to come from somewhere, right? So that's why they keep increasing the rates.
Yeah.
And then what they're doing is they're switching everybody over to what's called as time of use. Are you familiar with time of use? Have you ever heard of that
I
before?
think they switched us earlier this year. I don't know if it's like a 3 to 8 or something.
Yeah, so time of use, basically what they do is they charge you the most per kilowatt hour in the evening when you're using the most electricity, right? Like, so when everybody's home, you're back, little Johnny's back from school and you guys are cooking dinner and you got the lights on the TV, they're charging you as high as 41, even more so, cents per kilowatt hour in the evening. Now, are you familiar with what a kilowatt hour is?
No.
Okay, so a kilowatt hour is a measurement of electricity, right? You know what a watt is, like a 100-watt light bulb. Kilo meaning 1,000. So a kilowatt hour is 1,000 watts being ran for 1 hour. And that's how they charge you. If you look at your utility bill, you'll say, oh, you used 750 kilowatt hours this past month, and you get charged per kilowatt hour. So think of a kilowatt hour like a gallon of gas, okay? And so if 20 years ago, I had this debit card, I said, hey, okay, you can have this debit card, and when you go up to the pump to fill up your car, you're only going to spend 99 cents per gallon. And it doesn't matter what the price of gas is. If it's $1.20, $1.30, you'll always spend this 99 cents. You would have taken that card and ran with it, right? Because, you know, think about how much money you would save at the pump. But now think about how much money you would have saved over the past 20 years as gas prices went up $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7. Imagine how much money you'd be saving today if you only spent 99 cents per gallon. That's exactly what you're doing when you're going solar. So your solar system is producing these kilowatt hours at a low fixed rate. So you're going to save money day one. But tomorrow, when they raise the rates on you again, you're going to save even more. And the following year, and as time goes on, as the rates keep rising, you keep paying that same flat rate. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, gas got up to what, $6 or $7 earlier?
Yeah, it did. And let me ask you a question. Do you think electric prices are going up or down in the future?
I mean, I think I read something, there's another possible increase coming with this inflation. It's crazy.
It is. It truly is. And this is one of the few ways that people can truly fight inflation right now. So very cool stuff. How solar works, I think most people understand the concept, right? You have panels on the roof, generates electricity from the sun. It's then converted from DC to AC through an inverter, and that's what powers your home. There's only a few pieces of this. There's no moving parts. So you have your panels on the roof. Multiple panels put together is called an array of panels. It's then mounted with a racking system. It's thin, low profile. It's then connected to your inverter, which is wired into your meter, which powers your home, or sends the excess electricity back to the grid where you earn a credit. Now, that process of sending that excess electricity back to the grid is called net metering. Are you familiar with how that works?
Not really.
Okay. I'm going to PG&E put together a quick video that explains exactly how it works. They did a really good job. I'm going to play that for you. It's 2 minutes. Just give me a thumbs up as long as you can hear it.
Every day when the sun rises, tens of thousands of PG&E customers, more than any other utility in the nation, are proving the value of solar. They're saving money on their bills while helping the environment. If you're one of these forward-thinking homes or businesses, please accept our congratulations and thanks. Of course, how solar works for you may be different in some ways than how it works for your solar neighbors. It all has to do with how much electricity your system generates and how much you use on a daily, monthly, and annual basis. Sometimes customers produce more power than they use and send the surplus energy back into the grid. Other times, homes and businesses use more power than their solar panels can generate. So depending on how much energy your system generates and your consumption, you may end up with either a charge or a credit for the month at the normal rate. If you participate in a time of use plan, you can also export electricity to the grid when rates are higher and use electricity when prices are lower during certain periods, like at night. In this case, you may actually get a credit for the month even though you've used more energy than you've exported. The credits you accumulate in a given month can offset the charges you receive in other months. This is called net energy metering, or NEM. To make sure you have the full picture, PG&E sends you and every solar household both your regular monthly PG&E bill that includes a minimum electric service charge, as well as a NEM statement that gives you a monthly and year-to-date snapshot of your charges and credits. Then, every 12 billing months, approximately on the anniversary of your solar system's interconnection to the PG&E grid, you get a true-up statement that reconciles all the charges and credits you received over the past year. If you have a balance remaining, it tells you what amount is due. If you have a credit remaining, it's reset to zero and nothing is owed. It also indicates if you're eligible for net surplus compensation if you generated more energy than you consumed in total over the year. But whatever kind of solar household or business you are, there's one more thing to know. Everyone with solar can save money on energy, while they're making a difference for the environment. That's just a quick look at what you can expect when you're a solar and renewable.
All right. All right. My favorite part's the dolphin at the end. Did that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. It's like if we get the plug-in car, we'll charge it after 8 or 9 because it's cheaper, and the solar will help us during the day.
Yeah. So just to recap, during the day, your solar system's producing more electricity than you consume. Okay. So it sends that excess electricity back to the grid, where it's literally spinning your meter backwards, right? You're earning credits. At night, the sun's not out, right? So the electricity you consume, it comes back from the grid, but it's coming back from those credits. As long as your system produces more electricity than you consume over the course of the year, when you get your true-up statement, you're not going to have a bill. If you use more electricity than you consume, you're going to pay for that net difference. Make sense?
Right.
Okay. Now that's how it is right now. Unfortunately, they're changing that. What you just saw is net metering 2.0. That's what everybody that has solar in California is currently on that plan. Unfortunately, about 5 days ago, they voted to change net metering to where you are no longer going to be getting a 1-for-1 credit. See, right now, if they're charging 40 cents, you get a 40-cent credit. If it's 30 cents, 30-cent credit. Now they're just going to buy that excess electricity off you at a wholesale rate, about 5 cents per kilowatt hour. And then they're going to sell it back to you at full retail. How's that sound?
Not as good.
It's not even close to being good. In fact, it's going to wipe out the majority of all savings when it comes to being solar. It's kind of criminal, in my opinion, that they're doing it. It's like, hey, California, it's all about going green until it affects the bottom line. It's a real shame, but luckily for you, this doesn't take place until April. And so you are still able to get grandfathered into the current solar plan. All right. Also be able to tell all your friends and family members, they got to go solar now. Now is the time. With that being said, you are going to have an app on your phone that shows you how much you're producing versus how much you're consuming. You'll be able to see the health of each individual panel. So you'll be able to track all that, make sure you're staying within, how much your system's producing. Now let's talk about batteries here. Do you know how batteries work with solar?
I think it's one of my friends got it with Tesla. I'm not really sure if it's needed or not, but I know they're pricey, I think.
Yeah, so batteries, basically what it does is it allows you to continue to power your home in the event of a blackout. Now, do you guys experience blackouts where you live? Have you had any blackouts?
I think we had maybe 2 this year. One was a couple hours and one was a little shorter.
Okay, all right. So when you combine a battery with solar, if the grid goes down, the battery kicks on. And what's great about these batteries, it actually allows the solar to power your home through the battery. And so it's powering your home through during the day. When the sun goes down, the battery kicks on and keeps you going through the night. When the sun comes back on, or when the sun comes up, it recharges your battery while powering your home, and it cycles through over and over again. The thing is, though, you need to set proper expectations with batteries. One battery is going to be good enough to do your basics, your essentials, right? Some LED lights, keep your fridge from spoiling, your Wi-Fi, plug your phone in. But if you wanted to power, like, let's say the AC and, run the dishwasher, do the laundry during a blackout, which I don't know why you would want to do that. But if you did, that would take a minimum of 2 batteries, but more likely 3 or 4. What's great is Enphase offers batteries. They do the micro inverters. They have the app, the combiner box. It's all on one platform, makes it easy to use. And you're able to add batteries in the future if you feel the need to. Now, this is an example of what a bill looks like after you go solar. As you can see down here, it's just like your bill probably looked like this summer, right? It went up during the summer, how much you were using, started going down. But then once you go solar, it flips. And that's where you start earning those credits every single month. You still are going to have a connection charge to the grid because you are still tied to the grid. It's about $10, $12 per month. But that is your flat rate with the grid. Depending on the size of your system and how old your panel is, we may need to upgrade your electrical panel. Do you know the size of your electrical panel or what you have?
Yeah, the home's only 12, 13 years old. And so I believe we do have a newer, the 200 amp.
Okay, good. And, when we come out there to do the site survey, we're going to take a look at that. And, we'll see if you I'm guessing that your panel's probably good enough. You said it's not very old and it's 200 amp. That's usually what it takes. But if not, we'll let you know at the time of the site survey. Now, what if I sell my home? This is probably one of the most popular questions we get. Most people finance these systems over 15, 20, 25 years. They stretch out the payment so they have a low payment. But let's say you sold the house in 5 years or 10 years. Well, as long as the person has a 640 FICO score or higher, they'll qualify for the solar payment and they can take it over and it relieves you of the remaining debt. How's that sound?
So I can transfer it if I finance it?
Correct. Yeah. So if you sold your house in 10 years and let's say you hadn't paid off your system, the person purchasing your home can literally just take over the solar payment as long as they qualify. Or you could take the extra equity from your home and pay it off. And now the person buying your home has a fully paid off solar system. And that would be extremely attractive to a buyer.
Okay. Yeah, that option sounds good.
Yeah, it's pretty good because it does add value to your system. About $6,000 per kilowatt is going to add equity to your home once the system's paid off. And this right here is the part that I absolutely love. This is what got me into it, is that solar is an asset. It's really the difference between renting and buying a home, right? So currently you spend a couple $1,000s to your utility company every single year and you owe nothing, or you own nothing at the end of it, right? Well, with solar, you're eliminating that bill. You no longer have that utility bill. You have a much smaller bill that you pay to yourself. So you're redirecting those funds back into your own pocket in the form of equity to your home. Does that make sense?
Definitely. Yeah.
Very good. It's one of the best investments you can make over a 20-year period. And as I mentioned in the beginning, yes, you were going to save money day one. But tomorrow, when they raise the rates on you, you're going to save even more. And as the years go by, as the rates increase, you're going to just keep saving more and more money. So bottom line with us, it costs nothing out of pocket to go solar. You're going to start saving money day one. It's going to increase the value of your home by adding equity to it. And it's going to be a fixed cost and you're owning your own energy. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the proposal that me and my engineers put together for you. If this all looks good for you, the next step would get you qualified. And then we come out there and do the site survey. That's when we're going to take a look at your roof, look at that electrical panel, take pictures, and go back with the engineering team and get to work. Once we have the final designs, we'll run it by you and your wife. If you guys give us a thumbs up, we'll apply for the permits. Permits take about, anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 months. That's really the longest part of this whole process. But once the permits get back, we install, installation takes about a day, 2 at the most. From there, they do the final inspection. Once that clears, we submit your application, and then you get the green light, and now you're running on the power of the sun. Sound good?
So when do you think this system would be on the roof?
So I say it typically a solar project runs anywhere from 60 to 90 days. Now, could it happen sooner than that? I've had systems installed in 45 days. Can it take longer than that? Absolutely. I've had projects take 4 or 5 months. Really, the longest part of this is the permitting process, but 60 to 90 days typically seems to be the average.
Okay. So March, maybe.
Yeah, sounds about right. All right here. So let's go ahead, take a look. Now, Rick, this is correct spelling of your name, address, phone number, email?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, perfect. So this right here is a top-down view of your home. And as you can see, we already put the solar panels on there, so you're good to go. Just joking. But this right here is a 6.8 kilowatt size system made up of 17 black on black Hanwha Q cell 400 watt panels and N-phase microinverters. So let me break that down for you for a second. First of all, the panels. Hanwha Q cell, #1 brand in the world. These are their 400 watt black on black panels. These are German engineered, made in the USA, have a 25-year warranty out of the box. Like I said, we're going to extend it out to 30. These are the highest rated panels. They're some of the most powerful panels for their size. And if I can just be completely honest, they're sexy. They're good looking panels. This is what you want. It's black glass, black frames. They're modern looking. This is what you want on your roof. This is what when your neighbors see panels, it looks good. It's not like these you can see in the background, these blue with the white dots and the stripes. Nobody wants those panels anymore. You want the black on black, and that's what this is. Nice. So you got the 400 watt black on black panels. Then we're going to pair that up with N-phase microinverter technology. I'm going to play one more video for you.
Every day, you depend on energy to nudge you out of bed and get those synapses firing. For over a century, we've relied on fossil fuels to power our daily lives. But advances in solar and battery technology have reached a tipping point. It's more practical and affordable than ever to harness the sun, to fill your home with clean energy. Now, you can save money on your utility bills, reduce your carbon footprint, and keep the power flowing whenever the grid has a bad day. The N-phase energy system brings solar, batteries, and software together in one complete package, so you can make, use, save, and even sell your own power. And you can control it all with a smart mobile app. It's the N-phase app that puts the power of the sun in your hands. You can monitor how much solar energy you make, how much you use, and how much you save. The app can even alert you to extreme weather events, and if an outage occurs, help you prioritize which appliances get power. And today, in many states, you can sell your surplus power back to the local utility for cash or credit on your bill. You can do it all with the N-phase app. Microinverters are what transform the electricity your solar panels generate into safe AC power your home can use. The genius of N-phase microinverters is how they work independently, so if one panel fails, the power keeps flowing. And for the first time ever, N-phase's revolutionary IQ8 microinverter with sunlight backup can keep power flowing during a daytime grid outage, even without a battery. The benefit of having batteries is that you can store the power you make and use it anytime, day or night, rain or shine. When you put a battery on your home, safety is important. N-phase batteries use lithium iron phosphate chemistry, which means they're safer and last longer than alternatives. You can get started with N-phase's most affordable battery to power essentials like fans or the fridge. And you can easily add battery capacity over time to back up your whole home to maximize resilience and your energy savings. One of the most important decisions you'll make is choosing an installer. Enphase partners with a network of experienced, independent installers who can design a system that's right for you. And because they live where you live, they can help you take advantage of tax incentives and credits in your area. Together, they've installed Enphase systems on more than 1.5 million homes in 130 countries. With an Enphase energy system, you become a producer and participant in the energy revolution. This is the clean energy future we've been waiting for.
Is that awesome or what? I
There's,
truly cannot say enough great things about Enphase and the company. One of the main things, and I don't know if you caught this, but it's how the inverter works. So traditional inverters, or how it works with traditional solar systems, you have one inverter on the side of your home, right? And that's where your whole solar system, it all pipes in through the inverter, and that's what converts the electricity from DC to AC. The problem is with that is if that inverter goes down for whatever reason, your whole system's not working because it's a single point of failure, right? So with Enphase, it's decentralized technology. They put a microinverter underneath every single panel. So if a panel was to go out, an inverter was to go out, your entire system would be working flawlessly. Obviously, on the app, you'd be notified. We would come out there, we would fix that with that great warranty that we have, and get you up and running, but you'll never find yourself with your solar system not working. Another thing is this model of the inverter, the IQ8 Plus, just to put this in perspective, the IQ7 is what was used in the industry the past 6-7 years. The IQ8 Plus came out this year. So you are getting the latest, the greatest in technology. So when you pair up Enphase microinverters with Hanwha Q-Cell black on black American made panels, you now have the best in technology for your home. So back to the system, as I mentioned, we're going to use 17 of these panels, right? It's a 6.8 kilowatt with the Enphase microinverters. It's going to produce 11,162 kilowatt hours annually. Now, what does that mean for you guys? Well, we took a look at your bills. You'd sent them over there, and it looked like you guys had used just shy of 9,000 kilowatt hours annually. So this system itself is going to produce 124% of what you use on an annual basis. So if you were to use the same amount of electricity next year as you did this previous year, and you had this system, you are not going to have a bill at the end of the year. How's that sound?
that sounds pretty good. So is this a little extra, or is you said it's pretty much it'll get rid of everything if we use the same?
If you use the same. So how it works, because of net metering, and they charge, sometimes you're getting a higher credit, sometimes you're getting a lower credit. You do need to be at like that 110, 115% to not have a bill. Now, this gives you a little bit of wiggle room. People tend, when they get solar, they just so happen to use more electricity. They leave the lights on a little bit. They run the AC. They want to push the boundaries of their system. This is going to give you a little bit of room for growth. Like I said, you're not going to be stressing on how much you use. And that's really, if you're going to do it right. That's in my opinion. But this is going to give you a little bit of extra, but not a whole ton. Okay. Does that sound about the right size for you for now?
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming if we do get that plug-in, we might need a little bit more.
Correct. We could talk about that here in a bit.
It sounds good.
Now, so this system itself, and this is the whole system with the panels, with the inverters, the 30-year warranty, the engineering, design, installation, everything, is $29,274 for the whole project. Okay. You're going to get a tax credit of $8,782, making the net system cost $20,492. Okay. How it works is, now your guys' average bill is about $291 a month. Would you say? Is that about right? That's what we came to.
Yeah, lower in the winter, but those summers really creep up.
Probably got those 400, 450 during the summers, maybe like 250 in the winter, but you're over the 12-month period, you're paying 291 average. So this right here, this is a zero down option. Doesn't cost you a penny to do this out of pocket. It's a 20-year, 6.99% interest. That's where interest rates are these days. It's going to give you a monthly payment of $167 per month. Okay. And how it works with the loan is they give you a year and a half to claim that tax credit. So you're going to get that tax credit of $8,782. As long as you apply that tax credit to the principal balance of the loan within that first year and a half,
Wow.
on month 18, your loan reamortizes one time, and it'll stay at that 167 payment for the remaining balance of the loan. Now, let's say you were to keep that tax credit, right? You want to do a remodel, or you had some bills to pay off, whatever, it's your money. If you kept the $8,700, your payment would go up to $237, but you got to put $8,700 in your pocket. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Is there also a fee for like to rent the system or the electricity, or what is there?
No, this is you owning the system, and that's why you're getting to get the tax credit, because you actually own the system. The only other fee or payment is that connection charge to the utility. It's about $10 a month. So as you can see right here, right off the bat, you're saving over $100 a month starting day one.
Yeah.
And that's just at today's rates. You know, a couple of years from now, as rates go up and your average bill is now $350, you're still paying that same $167 per month. 10 years, as you can see, now you're saving over $200 a month, and to go on and go on. And once the system's completely paid off, now you no longer have a solar payment. You just have that interconnection charge. As you can see, in 20 years from now, your average bill is looking to be over $600 a month. Imagine putting that back into your pocket in the form of retirement, right? It just makes sense. Another great thing that I want to show you, it's going to also add equity to your home. So the size of the system, they've calculated, it's going to add about $28,000 worth of value to your house. That's kind of a no-brainer, because the system net, after the government's paying their part, you're only paying $20,000 net. So you're gaining there. And the other thing is rather than the bottom line is you're making these payments already, right? Whether you're going solar or not, you're still making these payments. It's whether you just want to continue to pay the $291 and beyond to the utility company, or if you want to make a smaller payment and put it back into your own pocket.
And the 20 years, Jared, I mean, that's a long time. Can we pay it off earlier, or is there a fee? Or?
It is. There's no prepayment penalty. So I was going to ask you. So this is option number one. I was going to show you another option. How's your credit?
We're in the high sevens. You know, my wife and I really are diligent about that. Okay.
There's another product that I like. Here, let me show it to you here. It's a 6.49. So you actually save 0.5% on the interest. And as you can see, it went from 167 to 183.
That's still pretty.
It barely jumped up at all. You get a 0.5 point discount on there. It shaves 5 years off the payments. And in fact, you even get a slight discount on the price because it's a shorter term.
Yeah, that one.
You want to see if you qualify for this one?
That one's a little bit better. My wife here, she's been nagging at me. She's got 2 questions, Jarrett.
Yeah, go for it.
Like hail or earthquake, do we have to tell our homeowner's insurance person? Like what could that add, you know?
I'm not sure exactly how much that would add to your homeowner's insurance policy. As I mentioned, we have our 30-year warranty, but that covers anything like manufacturers and issues, something that we did, right? If you had an earthquake or hail, or, a kid threw a ball up and destroyed it. First of all, these panels are very strong. They're rated towards, things like hail, stuff like that. Earthquake, obviously if you had an earthquake that destroyed your roof, you'd have bigger problems than just your solar at that point.
Sure.
But you definitely it would be a homeowner's insurance policy thing. So you would want to let your homeowner insurance. I can't imagine it adding too much though, but you'd want to check.
maybe $150 a year.
Maybe. Yeah.
And then she's just really concerned about that roof that you're drilling into. You know, she was wondering, like, what if in 5 or 10 years we want to change the roof or put a new roof on? What does that look like?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So first thing, like I said, what we're going to do is once we get you qualified here, we're going to come out and schedule your site survey. So we're going to come out there, we're going to take a look at your roof, walk on it, poke holes on it, right? Just to see how much life is left in it. As long as it has, good life on it, we're not going to install on your roof if you're going to need to change it out in a few years. So we'll let you know at that time. But let's say, 10 years down the road, you did want to get a new roof.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, you would let us know. We would come out there, remove the panels, you would install your new roof, and we would put the panels back on. As far as costs of what that would be, then it'd be really tough for me to give you a quote on that at that time, just because I don't know what labor cost and would be 10 years from now. That's like, kind of predict. Like, imagine 10 years ago, if I told you how much it would cost to do that with things being what they are today, it'd be hard to predict. But it would be a fair price. Probably a few $1,000. Yeah. So
that's what she was.
Did that answer all your questions?
And this will get the net metering, the better one?
Absolutely. So once we get you set up and qualified here, we'll come out there, do the site survey, we'll get the designs. It should be within a week or two. We'll have everything ready to go, and we'll submit your interconnection application. That'll grandfather you in to net metering 2.0.
Do you think I can get the tax credit this year?
Absolutely not. I mean, you'd be purchasing it in 2022, but your system will be installed next year. So you'll be qualifying for the tax credit in so your system will be installed in 2023. So when you file your taxes for 2023, at that point, you'll get the tax credit. And that's why they give you a year and a half from the time your system's installed to claim that tax credit.
Okay.
So yeah, if you like the 15-year, let's go ahead and get you qualified here. What's your date of birth?
June 11th.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at this point, I'm going to go through everything. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, that's how I close. That's it right there. It's a very assumptive option based. I give them two options, 20-year, 15-year. Obviously fluid, depending on the situation, if they're really interested in cash or they have other questions, but it's very assumptive. And that's it. That's my presentation, you guys.
I like the Dolphin, Jarrett, and you did beat Sun Power and Sunrun. So yeah, let's do it. Rock and roll.
Cool, man. I will let you guys also know a couple things just back to, why people will buy, right? So it's company, right? Like, the question you're typically going to get is, I need to think about it, right? But what does that mean when someone says, I need to think about it? It means they don't have all the facts. It usually means something else, right? So one is they want to check out competition. That's why I murder it with the company story, right? I talk about Powur, number 43, Inc. 500, the philanthropy, 30-year warranty, nationwide, we're going to be around, all that stuff. So I really want to feel good about the company they're working with. Then I talk about the product, right? So the product, man, when American-made black-on-black panels, Hanwha Q-cell, N-phase microinverters, best in technology. I play that video. That video really sells it. They feel good about the product. Yeah. Can I afford it? Now, we all know this is a competitive environment. Just so you know where I price, my sweet spot, I'll share with you guys. When I do a system, obviously I always have the warranty in there. That's my sweet spot, you guys. I'm really rarely ever above that.
Wow.
I'm usually around like $7,500 to $8,500 right there. Because we have a phenomenal business model, cost of goods. This is $8,800 just about what it costs us to do the project. Most companies are not going that low. Some may, but the other thing is look at the products I'm choosing. This barely has much of a dealer fee at all. So when they compare my price to someone else's price, I'm not going to be $10,000, $15,000 above it because of a dealer fee. And I'm priced competitively on the margin. So I'm selling, just so you guys know, I sell, my close ratios about 80%, 70, 80%. I close who I talk to. And I would say half of those are sold right there on the first time on the presentation. I make it easy to say yes, hard to say no. The other thing is do they trust me and like me? You know, I try to spend the time, build a rapport. So, right, if you do a great job selling your company, the product, they like the product, they can afford it, and they like you, they're really going to spend another hour and 20 minutes with another person, right? That's the other thing. I spent the time, I educated them, and I've answered. Usually when I say, do you guys have any questions? More often than not, they say, no, you answered them all during your presentations. So we can open it up to questions.
Yeah, awesome job, Jarrett. I'll just stop this recording real quick. But I just want to say everyone gave you lots of love in the chat. Your flow and cadence and bringing out the guns in the beginning, like really cool. And I think a lot of people thought your flow was just awesome. So thanks for sharing, brother. One of your best. I've seen you do lots of nuggets drop today. So thank you.
Right on.